Hi, it's Sandy Parker, and welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. Today we're going to finish up our planner. We've got lots of things to do. I hope you'll stay tuned. So yesterday we made the cover for our planner, and it looks like this. I have been thinking about the different things I wanted to do in my planner, and I think the first thing I wanted to make sure I had was a pocket. And, well, not a pocket, a zipper pocket. And I bought this one at the Dollar Tree during back to school. It's made by Jot, and you can buy pencil cases just about anywhere, but this is the one that I wanted to use because I bought it already, and why not? But the tricky part is figuring out how am I going to attach those little buggers. I'm still thinking about that. But first things first, let's talk about our calendar itself. I got this calendar, and this was free. And I rounded the corners with my favorite corner rounder, the Kado Maru Pro, K-A-D-O-M-A-R-U Pro, that I got from Amazon. I love it more than anything. It has 3 sizes, large, medium, and small. So if you are looking for a corner rounder, this is the bad boy for you. I'm telling you. Anyway, I don't get any money for saying that. I just love it that much. So anyway, I went to a website, and I'm going to give you the information. It is www.shiningmom.com. She gives some free printables, and this calendar is a free printable of hers. I really liked it. I thought it was colorful, and it worked with my color scheme, I thought, so I went with it. As I said, I rounded the corners on it. The problem I have is if I'm going to be making this the way I intend to make it, which is by folding them in half so that they go in my planner, then the issue becomes if you do it all like, let me show you. If I fold them all like this, and I have different signatures, that's what they call this once you put it in your book, then as I open it, then January is kind of the center of the book. And then when I do this, then February becomes the back. I just couldn't figure out what I'm doing wrong with this process. So what I decided to do in the end was I would make January, then I made some other components, to-do list, notes, and then I came up with a couple other things I liked. This one is just acts of kindness and best of, and that was like best of would be food, books, people, moments, songs. So I thought that what you would do is if you had something that happened in a day or a week or a month that was something memorable, that you would write it there. And I also have journaling spaces, but I don't know where those went. Anyway, with that being said, what I decided to do is I would make a signature for the month of January, for the month of February, and on and on and on. And so I'm going to show you how I'm doing that, and then after I'm done with one, then we'll go from there. But for right now, that's my plan. And I also made a little folder for the month too. So this is going to be a pocket that the month of January is going to fit into. And then I'm going to put a tab, I'm going to call it a tab, a thing that sticks out that says January on this. And to do that, I'm going to be using either, I have a tab paper punch, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to use that or if I wanted to come up with a different way of doing it. But for now, that was what I was thinking. And I'm going to use the same kind of paper, but the other thing I thought about was the next one I make, well, let's make one and I'll show you my idea. Let's make the folder first. I thought it would be important if I went over the paper in detail with you so you understand exactly how to trim this and score it. You're going to want to cut it down to 11 and about 3/8 on the side. Then the bottom is going to be 12 inches across, okay? So when you score it, this is really, really important. flip it over, and you're going to score it at 5.5 inches in order for us to make the tab. And then you're going to turn it once, so we're on the 12-inch side now, and you're going to score it at 3 inches. Then you're going to turn it so that that 3-inch mark is at the top. So here's your 5.5-inch score, and then here's your 3-inch score. So you're gonna score the lines closest to this, one line closest on either side of the score. You don't really have to do this, but I'll explain it in just a second. Excuse me for the noise. You know I hate that noise, but it's kind of the life of how this works. Then, in order to make the next steps, you need to cut out on either side, on those scores you made on the bottom. You're going to cut those up to the 3-inch score. And then you're going to cut out that little piece. This is what how we're going to create our pockets. So that little piece is gone. Now you're going to fold this up and use your bone folder. Woo. I'm going to burnish it in place, or as I like to say, you're going to bone folder it in place. Then you're going to fold it. I'm going to get my needle out of the way so I don't lose that. Then you're going to fold it closed. This creates this cool tab that we're going to use in just a minute. Next step is to use your corner rounder. We're going to round a lot of the corners with our large setting. That's another reason it's really important that you fold those bottom scores really well, because that will help you to get it into our paper trimmer. Sorry, or my corner rounder. Sorry about that. Doesn't like to do it on those really tough ones. Then, here comes the cool part of the story. You're going to get, if you have one of these, this is really handy, and that is an envelope or an envelope maker, or this is a 1-2-3 punch board, because this makes boxes, envelopes, and bows. But the cool part about it is this bottom setting right here, and we're going to line it up so that the middle of our tab, or the middle of our score, excuse me, is right in the center. You see that right there? And then you're going to push down on it, and that's going to make it so that we will be able to put that into our book and it'll hold in place. We're going to do the bottom too. And no, I never saw anybody else do it this way. This is my system, and so if you have a different system that works, use yours, but for me, that round wasn't perfectly round. For me, this is what works. Then, okay, I'm going to be making, I think, the month of May, so I'll pull out April's and I'll show you. See how I did April's right there? Now we need to make May's in the center, so here's how you do it. You're going to back to this score. We're going to put a little punch here. Make sure it stays in there. And I'm going to open up my, this is why I didn't do the pocket yet, glue it shut. Okay, you see how we did that? We're going to then use our paper trimmer, and we're going to cut off this and then this, because we don't need any of that. You can use just your scissors if you want to do that, that's fine, but I wanted this to look as clean as possible. Okay, let me explain it to you another way. Remember when we put it in the paper trimmer and I said how important it was that when we did it on the white side? Here's the reason. To make this to make this tab show up on the right side, you have to score it the way I scored it. If you score it with this side up, with your pattern side up, then your pocket ends up being on the left side, and we don't want it on the left side, we need it on the right side. Did that make sense? I think it did. So then what we're going to do is we're going to put this in, we're going to line it up. I'll show you in just a second how important this part is. I'll move it just a little bit. Okay, you see this right here? This is where my cut line is. Can you see that teeny tiny mark right there? That tells you that's where it's going to cut. And we want that little tab in the middle. Didn't do all the way. We want that little tab, hold on, I want to go to the bottom, to be the only piece left, and then I'm going to cut all this off. So all you really need to do, if you didn't trim that off properly with your paper trimmer, all you have to do is just snip it off, which is what I did. I just snipped the ends. Then I rounded this corner again and this corner so that all my edges would be rounded. Then you're just going to put a little bit of wet glue on the side of your pocket. Put it on the pocket part, not on the upper part. You're going to close that down, and then we're going to put a couple of clips there because we want to make sure these stay closed, and I want to go on to the next piece so that I can do more than one. While I'm waiting for that to dry, I used my label maker and I put all the months on my label maker, and now all I'm going to do is just cut the month of May out. I don't want to lose that. And then we just put it on, and basically at this point your pockets are done. It's all about making sure that you followed all those steps the way I showed you, and I wanted to make sure I showed it to you again so that I wanted to make sure I showed it to you in detail so that you really knew what you were doing there. I'm going to take my month of May, open this up, and put it right in the center, not uneven if I can avoid it. And I like to put it near the top and then cut off the excess. That way it looks better. Come on, buddy. Okay, so there's my month of May. I think it's okay to take these off now. And then I didn't cut this really straight up there, if you can see that, my pocket, by my pocket. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim that off. Remember, the reason we had this little problem is because I used the paper trimmer trying to cut this out. If you just use your scissors, you probably wouldn't have had any problems at all, but I wanted to go high-tech and use my paper trimmer. So there is the month of May. I hope you understand how to do it. If you don't, go back and follow it, the steps, and I think you'll follow that. Next, we're on to making our bindings and going through that, but let me first show you, once I put it in the book, what it looks like. If it was completely finished, which of course is not full or stitched in, but because we made those little what do you call those, little notches at the top and the bottom, look how nicely it fits in our book. Isn't that nice? So that is how it's going to work. So on to the next step. Now I'm going to show you how we're going to put these together. First thing you're going to do is you're going to get a piece of paper, and we want it to be on the 8.5 inch length. I'm just making sure this is the 8.5 inch length. Okay, this is going to be the paper we're going to use for this little project we're doing. What you're going to do is you're going to fold this paper in half, and really make sure you have good folds. Then you're going to fold that into thirds. So I don't know how you do it, but in order for me to know that I've got thirds, I kind of like eyeball, and if I'm way off, I think that's pretty good. Nope, not big enough, sorry. see how I did. That's good. Okay. I'm going to really make sure, I'm going to even burnish this with my bone folder because I want us to be able to see this really well, if we can. Okay. We're going to open our piece of paper. And everywhere there's one of these little lines, I'm going to fold it in half the other way too, just so I have a straight line. You know, you want them to be in a straight line. Sorry if this is confusing. Okay. So you're going to, the first thing you're going to do is fold your paper in half so it's still 8.5 inches tall. Then you're going to fold it in half this way. I'm just going over it again with you. Then you're going to fold that into thirds. Like that. You got it? So your paper ends up like this. This is going to give you a template. It's going to help you to make sure that every one of your stitches that we're going to make, oh yeah, we're stitching, is going to be in the exact place you want it to be. And what I'm doing is I'm following, making sure I'm on my line, you're going to put it right up on these lines we made. Okay? That's how you're going to do it. Then, let me get my month of January. I think I put it all together here. Here's what I did with my month of January. I took my calendar, and that's my very top piece, which is in essence going to be the center. You're going to need to make sure that you do it like this. You're going to take your January and you're going to put it in the, I'm going to put it in the center of mine. I'm also going to put a bookmark in here so that I can, so that we can know where things are. But anyway, this is our January calendar. Then the same shiningmom.com, she made this plans for the week. I only am putting them in January's, but I'm going to give an extra one if the person that gets this wants to make it for every month. But I'm going to put it in for January. I drew this line across so that you can rate, like week of January 1st, week of January 6th, week of January 13th, January 20th, things like that. Then I have 4 of those in there. Then under that I have the to-do list and the notes that I'm going to take. Under that I have acts of kindness, and I think this is important to keep track of, that to remind yourself to be good to other people. And I didn't know what else to call it besides acts of kindness, but here are some instances. If you hold a door for someone, these are small things, but I have this belief that our system of rewarding ourselves doesn't really make us feel that good about ourselves. You know how you're supposed to praise yourself and give yourself kudos and give yourself a sticker for this and a pat on the back for that? I personally believe I get more from doing something for someone else than I do for doing something for myself. So if you would hold a door for someone that's in a wheelchair or on crutches or that just has a baby carriage or something that they could just use a hand, or just anyone, hold a door open. Hand write a note to somebody who you know is struggling. Volunteer anywhere for anything. I mean, volunteerism will make you feel so much better about yourself. Thank someone for their service. Now, I'm not just talking about servicemen and women, although I believe strongly that when you see someone in uniform, you should stop them and thank them for their service. But if someone is waiting on you and does a good job, don't be afraid to say to them, I'd like to speak to your manager and ask for the manager, and then when the manager comes over, say, I just had the greatest experience. This person did such a good job of waiting on me. Get their name and really praise them, because people love to be praised and to be treated well. In any job, if you have an Uber driver that does a good job, praise them for it. That's the kind of thing I mean. Thank someone for their service. Take time to listen. If you have someone who's a friend who just wants to talk, take the time to listen if you can. Compliment a stranger. I can't tell you the number of times when I've seen someone and I said, I really like your top, or your hair is so cute that way. Or, you know, strangers, I just say, I like your shoes, whatever. It makes their day. And then lastly, offer to help. If you can help in any way for anyone at any time, offer your assistance if you can, because I'm telling you, if you can give back to other people in some way, you'll feel so much better about yourself. I guarantee that will be so much better than giving yourself a pat on the back. It will be a pat on the back just by virtue of how you feel about what you've done for someone else. This is just my take on life, but I'm telling you, it always works for me. Then this was best of. Maybe you had really great food. Maybe you read a really good book. Maybe you met some people back to service. Maybe you met some people that were really great or that did something terrific in helping you. They went out of their way for you. You met a librarian who looked all over for a book for you. Whatever. I'm just saying, any person. Best of moments. Rich and I, when we're on vacation, at the end of each vacation, we always write down our top 3 favorite foods, our top moment of the trip, and we keep it in our travel journal. And our travel journals are extensive because we write a lot of notes. Well, I do. And it's really cool to look back and see what our favorite moment was of a trip. And sometimes it was we watched a dog play on a beach and the dog had a really great time, and that gave us joy. Anything can be the thing that inspires you and is a perfect moment. Songs, maybe it's a song you heard that reminded you of a moment in time. There are so many songs that take me back. I just love that. So I just thought I'd write down best of songs. The next page is journaling and journaling/photos. I didn't know how much journaling you'd want to do, and if you had any photos, or people still take photos that they print out, but I wanted to make sure you had space for that, and I gave 2 extra pages for that are blank. And so that is what I consider a month at a glance. Okay? So then what you're going to want to do is you're going to put it in your January folder like that. So here's what I did. I put pin clips on both sides of my layers. Then I put the piece of paper that I made marks in. I put it right up to, but not touching, the center line. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my pokey tool, hopefully, to try and poke through all of my layers of paper. Now I have underneath that rooster that I talked about, and I'm using that as a way to make sure that my holes go all the way through, just in case you wondered. Now I did not put my folder on it yet, and I'll tell you why I didn't. Because I didn't think I'd be able to push through it. So now I'm going to put it on here. I'm going to take my clips off this. I'm leaving the top and the bottom clips on. I just want to make sure that I have this centered on my line at the top. Let's see if that is right. Hopefully it is. I think it is, but I'm making sure. That looks right. I'm going to make one hole and see. Clip it again on the sides, just to be sure. So I took some embroidery thread And you should use the stuff that's, that's made for this. I thought about using dental floss because I thought dental floss might be a smart way to go, but then I gave up. Now this is how Lisha did it, and I'm gonna follow her system. I don't need this paper in here anymore. Okay, I have 3 strands of this, and like I said, I don't think that was the way to go. And I don't want to be able to see I want the knots to be on the back. All right, we're going to start, and we're going to put through the center hole, and I'm going to hold on to the end of this. Then I'm going to go down through the next hole down, like that. Make sure I don't lose that piece. Then I'm going to come up through the bottom hole. Hold on to that other one so I don't have it come out. Then back into the second hole. Like that. Then we're going to skip the middle hole. Okay. Go into my 4th hole. Then up to the top. Then we're going to come back out the 4th hole, back in the 4th hole, down into the center hole. That's what'll play with me. Okay. Down into the center hole. Okay. Now, here's the part that this Lisha taught me that was important. Once you pull that out, you have your original string on the left and you have this string on the right. Doesn't really matter, left, right. But you want to be on either side of this center string. I'm going to take off the string because all you're going to do now is tie it. You're going to tie it, and I'm going to tie it like I do everything when I'm doing these kind of things. I usually do like 3 knots because you want to make sure it's nice and tight and that it doesn't break. And this doesn't leave a big knot at all. It's very small, in case you were wondering. Okay, then we're going to trim it off. And then, once you trim it off, I'm leaving that little teeny tiny bit there. You can take the pieces off the bottom and the top and the sides, and you have made your first signature. This is what will go into your book, and I'll show you your book. Okay. We're going to put January in this first string. You just pull the string up and then you put it here. I should have, when I did this, I should have rounded my middles too, but I didn't, and that is problematic. I should have done that. We're going to pick that cord up. I'm going to put January into it, and we're going to pull it like that. And now January's in, and then to close your book, you're just going to do what I showed you before, where you're going to put the button around to the front. That's not the button. Somehow I have a button snafu. That's the button. This button goes around to the front. And I want to show you one more thing about this. I talked about my pen holder that I made yesterday, or in the last video. And let me show you where that is. Remember I made it between these 2 buttons. There's a loop. All you're going to do, take that off. You're going to take your pen and you're just going to put it through this loop. I'm just going to pull it up like that, and then we're going to pull our other string. Hold on. Pull our string. And there it is. That's just January. Of course, I'm going to finish this, but I wanted to kind of walk you through it. Now, work keep forgetting the name of that video. ShiningMom.com has a bunch of downloadables that you can print out yourself, and I thought they were a lot of fun, but some of them you have to pay for. So if you're going to tailor this planner for yourself, I wanted to make sure I told you that, because maybe you want it to be completely different from the things that I thought were things that I wanted to keep track of in mine. And I also wanted to put, I'm going to make some paper clips and put them in here with hot glue or buttons so that I can make sure that I can earmark pages in my little journal. So I think I'm going to do one more video, and in that one I'm going to show you the accessories that you can make for your planner, and I'll show you this finished one. And I think I'm going to give this away to someone if they want it. I'm not sure if anybody in YouTube land would want it, but I thought it would be kind of fun to give it away. So in the third video, I will give you all the details on that, as well as explain how this how the end result planner will work, you know, with the different things I'm going to put in, including my zipper pocket that I have to figure out how to get this in here. It's going to be a mystery to me how I'm going to do that, but I am going to figure it out. I don't know how, but I am going to. So that's my scoop. I hope you enjoyed this, that you'll give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Please tell your friends about me on social media, because you know I love that. And thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.